The fall of Constantinople remains one of history's most shattering images. A majestic city of golden domes and triple walls, standing as the heart of the Roman Empire for over 1,000 years, finally overwhelmed after a desperate 53-day siege. Cannon fire thundering against ancient fortifications, the last emperor fighting on the walls, and an empire that had endured since antiquity, collapsing in blood and fire. The image is so vivid, so final, that it's become all we remember. But it shouldn't be. No city can be truly understood through its end alone.
Tonight, we'll trace Constantinople through its entire existence, from its modest Greek beginnings, through conquests and rebirths, through golden ages and desperate defenses, through the forces that shaped it into the immortal queen of cities. We'll experience the great sieges not as inevitable doom, but as turning points in its long, resilient life. We'll see how that life persisted in unexpected ways, refusing to simply disappear even after 1453. We'll explore how it faded from Western memory, only to be rediscovered, reigniting both wonder and controversy, and sparking an ongoing struggle to understand and preserve what remains.
Before there was a world capital, there was a fishing village on a strategic peninsula. It overlooked the Bosporus Strait, where Europe meets Asia, and the waters of the Golden Horn offered one of the finest natural harbors on Earth. For centuries, this place had drawn sailors and traders. Its position commanded the vital sea route between the Black Sea and the Mediterranean, while land routes connected it to the Balkans and Anatolia. The land was defensible, with steep hills and water on multiple sides. Around 657 BC, Greek colonists from Megara founded the city of Byzantium. Legend says their leader, Byzas, consulted the Oracle of Delphi, who instructed him to settle opposite the blind. The new colony thrived modestly as a trading post. It passed through Persian, Athenian, Spartan, and Macedonian hands, always valuable but never central. By the Roman era, it had grown into a respectable provincial city, yet still far from imperial glory. Everything changed in the early 4th century A.D. After years of conflict, Constantine the Great emerged victorious and chose this location to build his new Rome. Construction began on a massive scale. The city was expanded dramatically, filled with grand public works, forums, palaces, and churches. Constantine dedicated the new capital on May 11, 330 A.D. He called it Constantinople, Constantine's city, and Nova Roma. The city quickly became the undisputed center of the Eastern Roman world. For generations after Constantine, the city grew in splendor. Massive aqueducts brought water from distant hills. Trade exploded.
Grain from Egypt, spices from the east, furs from the north, and luxury goods from everywhere flowed through the Golden Horn. The population swelled toward hundreds of thousands. Constantinople was not just a capital. It was the beating heart of a Christian Roman Empire that still saw itself as the legitimate continuation of ancient Rome. The first great test came in the 5th century as waves of invaders threatened the empire. While the Western Roman Empire crumbled, Constantinople stood firm behind its formidable Theodosian walls, completed under Emperor Theodosius II around 413 AD. These triple walls, with their moat, outer wall, and massive inner wall studded with towers, were engineering marvels that would define the city's defense for 1,000 years. In 626 AD, a terrifying combined siege by Avars, Slavs, and Persians nearly broke the city. The defenders held firm, and the miraculous deliverance was attributed to divine protection. The 7th and 8th centuries brought the rise of the Arab caliphates. Arab fleets and armies besieged Constantinople twice, yet each time the Theodosian walls held. Greek fire devastated enemy fleets. These victories saved not just the city, but halted the advance of Islamic forces into Europe for centuries. Under emperors like Justinian I in the 6th century, the city reached new heights. Hagia Sophia, completed in 537 AD, rose as the greatest church in Christendom, its massive dome seeming to float on light. Justinian's legal code, military reconquests, and building programs made Constantinople the most magnificent city in the known world. The greatest betrayal came in 1204, during the Fourth Crusade. Western Crusaders sacked the city for 3 days, looting, burning, and desecrating. Priceless treasures were stolen. A Latin empire ruled for 57 years. But in 1261, Michael VIII Palaiologos recaptured the city and restored the Byzantine Empire, though it was now smaller and weaker. The final centuries were a story of defiant survival against overwhelming odds. The Ottoman Turks rose as a new power. By the late 14th century, Constantinople was an isolated island in an Ottoman sea. Multiple sieges followed, but the city held each time. The end came in 1453. Sultan Mehmed II prepared meticulously, casting massive cannons and assembling a vast army. The siege began on April 6th. Ottoman cannons pounded the Theodosian walls day after day. For weeks, assaults were repelled with desperate courage. On May 29, the final assault broke through. Emperor Constantine XI died fighting on the walls. The city fell. Mehmed entered in triumph and made Constantinople the capital of the Ottoman Empire. But this was not the end of Constantinople's story. Under Ottoman rule as Istanbul, it became the magnificent capital of a vast empire. The sultans added their own wonders: the Topkapi Palace, the Blue Mosque, and the Suleymaniye Mosque. The city retained its role as a cosmopolitan hub of trade, culture, and power for centuries. Even after the Ottoman Empire's dissolution, the city endured. Today, Istanbul is a metropolis of over 15 million, where ancient walls stand alongside modern skyscrapers, and layers of Greek, Roman, Byzantine, and Ottoman history coexist in one breathtaking urban tapestry. Constantinople had no single mountain, but faced 1,000 threats over 1,700 years. It survived Persians, Arabs, Avars, Crusaders, Bulgars, Rus, and Ottomans through ingenuity, faith, diplomacy, and those indestructible walls. It adapted, transformed, and endured as the Roman Empire in the East long after the West had fallen. Even its 1453 conquest was a transition, not an annihilation. Constantinople teaches us that great cities are more than stone and monuments. They are living ideas, resilient, adaptive, and immortal in memory. From Constantine's dream of a new Rome to its role bridging continents and eras, it refused to disappear. In our own time of uncertainty, the immortal city reminds us that civilizations can weather storms that seem apocalyptic, emerging changed but enduring. The spirit of the Queen of Cities lives on.